Okay, so indexing the rear derailleur, there's really only 4 screws we need to worry about. In fact, there's only really 3. One of them, it's a set it and forget it kind of screw. So I'll go over that one first. Okay, this one is called the B screw. It's always located here on the back. You can see it right here. And all that does is adjust how your derailleur sits. So when your derailleur is in the lowest gear, you don't want your cogs on the jockey wheels on the derailleur touching your cassette. So you adjust that screw there, and that adjusts the angle that your derailleur sits at. Okay, so once you've adjusted that, you screw it in to move the derailleur away. Once you've adjusted that, you just leave it. Don't worry about that one anymore. Okay, the next 2 are your high and low limit screws. High gears obviously being the little ones, low gears being the big ones. Some people get that confused, but that's how it is. So we've got a screw representing H on here. If I screw that in, it will prevent the derailleur from moving any further outwards, okay, so towards the frame. So if you've got an issue where your chain is slipping off towards the frame, screw your H screw in a little bit. Okay, so I'll just demonstrate that now. If I screw that in, you may not be able to see the derailleur is moving that way. Okay, so let's just slacken that off a little bit so that the derailleur lines up with my highest gear on the back. Okay, the next one is the L screw. Obviously that one prevents the derailleur from moving any more towards the wheel. This one's very important, because if you end up with your derailleur in your wheel, you're going to lose your derailleur, your mech hanger, and probably a few spokes. So what I'm just going to do is pull it on, give the cable a good tug. Actually no, I'll just do it from the derailleur. Okay, I've got my L screw set up nicely, so as you can see the derailleur is lined up with that big cog. Oh, maybe you couldn't see. Okay, derailleur lined up with the big cog, and it's not going anywhere near the spokes. It's fairly close, but that's quite common. Okay, now your 4th and final adjustment is cable tension, and now that's the important one. Having your cable tight is what makes the derailleur move into each of the gears properly. Okay, too tight, it won't come back to the highest gears. Too loose, and it won't move up to the lower gears. SRAM, I find, are very easy to set up because of their 1-1 actuation. They pull more cable, so there's less fine tuning to do. So what I'm going to do to start with is just give the big thumb lever a push, and that should hopefully pop it down to the next gear. That's too many. Okay, it's not moved. Why hasn't it moved? Because the cable is too slack. So I've got a barrel adjuster here. Shimano derailleurs also have a barrel adjuster here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to screw this out. So I'm going to loosen this, which will actually put more tension on the cable. Okay, so screwing this out will put more tension on the cable. Best to drop it down back to the high gear for this. Okay, you only need a few turns, not too many. Too many and you'll go too far, you may end up going up 2 gears. So let's try that again. Spot on. Okay, and we're just going to go up one at a time. Okay, that looks excellent. It's gone up to the lowest gears really easy, and coming back down nice and smooth. Excellent. Okay, so all I've done is adjusted the tension on the cable. If it wasn't moving up, we need to pull that cable a bit tighter, so we need to screw the barrel adjuster out. If it's not coming down to the higher gears, the smaller cogs, we need to screw that in, which will obviously release the cable that little bit more. Okay, as you use your gears, everything's going to bed in slightly. You're going to get a bit of stretch on the cables, so I might even be able to imitate that. So just giving those cables a good pull. Yeah, as you can see, if we imagine that's, you know, a week, a month's worth of use, we're not changing to the lower gear. So a little bit more on the barrel adjuster, If you go too far on the barrel adjuster, you'll know, because it'll pop out and it'll go all loose. What that means is there's too much slack on the cable. Put your barrel adjuster all the way back in and then readjust your cable here. What you're going to want to do is make sure that that is nice and tight when you're in the lowest gear. Okay, so we're going to have another go at that. There we go. Nice and smooth. And because I've given that cable a good tug, it's probably not going to bed in anymore. And I'll probably keep that nice, smooth, reliable gear shifting until I need to change that cable again. Okay, I hope that's been helpful. If you've got any issues, you can contact me on the Facebook page or on the forum. There we go. Next up, we'll probably do aligning your brake calipers.